Hi guys, I'm Steph and thank you so much for checking out my channel today. I'm really excited for this Foundation Friday and I will be testing out the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation Brightening Complex. It looks like this. It says on the packaging that it is for all skin types, and after reading the claims it totally does seem like it will work for everyone. I've seen not too many reviews but heard a lot about this foundation and everything I've heard seems to be pretty positive. So I'm going to tell you a bit about the foundation and what the claims are. So from their website, they say that it is a long-wearing, buildable, and breathable foundation that provides lightweight, medium coverage with a healthy satin finish. So we will definitely try to see if it is buildable. It also goes on to say that it is compatible with all skin types and features exclusive brightening complex and hyaluronic acid to hydrate, brighten, and improve the appearance of skin tone with added boost of vitamins A, C, and E, provides a flawless, healthy coverage. It also has an SPF of 20 in it. And I know some people are kind of iffy when their foundations have SPF because of flashback, but I don't take a lot of flash photography and I'm really not great about applying a separate SPF, so I love it when either my moisturizer, primer, or foundation comes with an SPF already in it. For those of you not familiar, Physicians Formula is a drugstore brand. I've only really seen it in Canada or the US. I'm not sure if it's in Europe. I never saw it there, but it very well could be. It's kind of more on the pricier side when you think of drugstore, but now that drugstore is kind of just getting pricey all around, it doesn't seem that crazy, and usually you can find it on sale. Like, I looked for this foundation last week and it was full price. I looked for it this week and it was on sale for like $7-8 off. So at least for me, I can definitely usually find a sale for Physicians Formula, and I think it goes on sale quite frequently. So just keep your eyes out. I would never buy anything full price from Physicians Formula. I don't buy many things full price, to be fair, but anyways, for the shade range, there are 16 shades, which isn't a huge amount, but Physicians Formula is kind of known for not being the most inclusive brand, so I was kind of happier to see that they do have some dark shades. And just to show you this diagram from their website, here it is here. So they have what they classify as light, medium, dark, and deep, and they have it in cool, warm, and neutral. So they try to cover all tones for a variety of depths of skin tone. So hopefully you can find something. It isn't a huge range, so I have heard that a few people have to mix to kind of find their perfect shade. The shade I will be testing out is LC1, so that is the light cool shade. And I tried to kind of just spot test on my hand in store. It seemed great. The drugstore I went to only carried like 4 shades, so when I went online I was surprised to see that there were 16 shades, so that's something to keep in mind. If your drugstore doesn't carry a wide range of shades, check the website, because a lot of the time I find there's more on the website than there are carried in store. Okay, this is kind of a bit of a gross ponytail, so please don't judge. So I will now be testing out the foundation. I have already moisturized my face and I will not be going in with a primer because I just want to test the wear of the foundation on its own without any added help from a primer or a powder or a setting spray. So none of that will be used to test out the foundation. I'll be testing out this side with my Eco Tools mini sponge, and I will testing out this side with the Primark paddle brush, which is kind of just what I use to put on foundation. So let's get into the application. So here we have the packaging here. It's really nice and sleek with a silver top. It is a twist top. And the applicator is a nice dough, which reminds me very much of the Clinique 2-in-1 foundation, because that was the first foundation I ever bought that had a doe foot, and I'm currently using it in my project pan, so it's definitely a foundation I find myself very familiar with. I'm going to put it on one half of the face. We'll see. It seems like a pretty decent shade match. Maybe a touch. I don't know. I'm sure when it blends out, I think it's actually going to be quite good. So, kind of just putting this all over. So here we have it kind of painted all over my face. I'm not sure if the shade match is going to be a little bit too pink. Kind of nervous about that, but let's just see how it blends out. So here is half my face done. This half isn't done yet, and I do think that it is a very good shade match. We will see if it oxidizes. I really hope it doesn't, because I would hate if that happens. In terms of coverage, I have a lot more going on this side of my face, but I would still say there's a few spots peeking through right here. But overall, I think just the look of the skin looks really nice and clean on this side and very much uniform. So I really like that aspect of it. It does kind of have this scent that I was not expecting. Now that I think about it, I think I have heard that there is a scent to it, but it smells almost like, oh, let me get another whiff of that. Chemically borderline alcoholic almost. I would not suggest sniffing it. I don't really smell it on my face right now, but when I did first put it on and was blending it out, it was definitely something that was noticeable. So if you are sensitive to scents, that is something to keep in mind. I'll now test this out with the paddle brush on this side. So here we are with it kind of all over, and let's see how it applies with the brush. I did find that I had to go in twice to kind of cover up just half my face, so definitely need to re-dip to get enough product to cover your face. So I'd say I had to dip in about 4 times to cover my whole face with just one layer. So kind of makes me think I might go through this foundation really quickly if you need that much product to kind of get enough for even one layer of application. Okay, so here we are with this side covered. I do feel like a little bit of coverage, but definitely I would consider it light coverage. In terms of which application I prefer, brush or sponge, I would say they're actually quite similar. I don't really see a major difference, and I'm not going to pick one just to pick one. I think you can apply this foundation both ways and it's going to look beautiful. They did make the claim that it was buildable, so I am going to try to build it up in this area and a little bit over here to see if we can get some more coverage to make it that medium that it claims it can get to. Okay, so I put it in those areas, and I definitely think I was able to get a bit more coverage. With the sponge, maybe not as much coverage here as I would have liked. I put a bit more here, and I think I got more coverage, but yeah, definitely it's not full coverage, but I would agree with the statement of medium coverage. And here, I would say you can see a lot better. I didn't just kind of push it around like I did with the first layer. I kind of tried to stipple it in and really push it into the skin, and I feel like that really helped build it up to an even fuller coverage. So I would say with one layer, both sides look the same, brush or sponge. If you want to go build it up for a medium coverage, I do think kind of stippling it in with a brush can give you more of that fuller coverage than a sponge, which is not surprising because sponges do kind of tend to sheer out a foundation just because they are a little bit wet, so that moisture going into the foundation is going to have a tendency to sheer out. Overall, I'm quite happy with it. I would have to say my things I'm going to be looking for throughout the day is it going to stay like this satin finish on my skin. I really like how it's looking right now, but with producing oils and that type of thing throughout the day, I'm not sure if that's going to last. I'm definitely going to be looking for oxidization already. I feel like it's not translating on camera, but in the mirror, I do feel like there is some discrepancy between my face and my neck with it just looking quite pink. So that is something I'm also going to be looking for is oxidization. And other than that, just general wear, how does it last throughout the day? So I'm going to put the rest of my makeup on to see how this kind of interacts with other things such as concealer and powder and that type of thing, and I'll be right back to let you know how that went. Okay, so I have done my makeup. Kind of don't really know what I'm going for with this look. My eyeshadow's a little, I don't know. It's not the point of this video. So how things applied on top, I think the concealer went on really well. I used a cream highlighter and I do think that blended out nicely, so I will have to say that I think cream products go on top of this foundation really well. However, when it came to powder products, I wasn't as into it, I would say. I feel like my bronzer kind of comes off a little bit pinkish almost, and I use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, which I use all the time, so I'm super familiar with it, and considering it's the same brand, I kind of expect even more of those products to work well together, and I just feel like my bronzer looks really off today, and when I was trying to put it on my cheeks, I just felt like it wasn't showing up on my forehead region. Like I said, I feel like it looks almost pinkish. I don't really love how that has shown up, so that's kind of And then with the blush, I mean, I think it kind of went on a little much, and it was hard to not blend out because I think it blended out fine, but it definitely, a lot was deposited, and then when I tried to just go over it with a brush that didn't have any product on it to kind of fluff away, or go over it with a sponge to kind of lessen it, I found that I couldn't really do that. So I found the pigmentation was very strong with the blush, and it was hard to kind of backtrack that, and my usual methods didn't work. But other than that, I think overall it still does really look nice. I don't really notice it settling into anywhere. So far, so good. So again, just so things that I'm going to be looking out for are the oiliness, the oxidization, and how it just wears. And so far I've been wearing this maybe like 10-15 minutes. I tried to do my makeup really fast because I have somewhere to go, but I don't notice any crazy oxidization, more so than I noticed earlier when I said it just looks kind of quite pink on my skin. So I will update you guys at the end of the day on how this foundation has worn and kind of sum up my thoughts then. So see you soon. So it is now the end of the day and I have been wearing this makeup for a little bit over 9 hours, so I definitely think I got a full day wear test out of it, and I think it held up pretty well. My hair is kind of disgusting, so don't mind that, but the foundation itself and the makeup on top of it, I feel like it held up pretty well. On my nose, everything is like completely gone. I did blow my nose a few times, but I mean, I'm not blowing the bridge of my nose, and the makeup all there was gone, so I wonder if that had to do with the fact that I have an oily nose, so just makeup tends to wear away there for me, and if I had worn a primer, maybe something a little tacky, it would have stuck a bit better to that area. And in terms of also how the foundation held up, I found that it was getting a little cakey in this region, not so much on this side, so I wonder if that had to do with sponge versus brush, but not overly a huge issue. And I kind of think that had I used a setting spray of some sort, that would have kind of just like set it all down a bit better and it would have been fine. The other thing I said I was worried about was oxidization, and I didn't encounter any of that, which was really great. So if you do test out the foundation on the back of your hand, the shade you test is the shade you get, which is really nice. You don't have to worry about it oxidizing on you. I do feel like the shade you see through the bottle is very much the shade that you do actually get. So that's really great. So no oxidization. And then about my oil coming through, when I first put it on, I was a little nervous that I saw some oiliness on my forehead and my chin, but I don't really think that anything more really occurred than what was initially there. So it wasn't like I got so oily throughout the day that everything kind of wore away, but I definitely could use a blotting powder or some sort of powder or something. So if you do have oily skin, it's not going to necessarily break down the foundation, but you are probably going to want to powder and use a mattifying setting spray and just, you know, what works best for your skin. And if you have dry skin, I feel like this lets your skin breathe, it hydrates it. You're not going to feel like cakey and heavy and dry on your skin. So that's really great. So it claims it works for all skin types, and I can totally see how it would. Overall, I would say I was really happy with how this foundation wore. Great color match. I love how it wore. I'm really excited to test it out with some primers and setting sprays and powders and see how it kind of wears when I test it out with a few other things. But overall, I'm really happy with it. These last 2 foundation Fridays have been going really well, so hopefully it stays that way. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye.